I'm Dr. Glenn Lippert. I've been 35 years here with the college teaching history or Greek. And one of the first things I did 35 years ago when I came to Haviland was try to dig up as much of the history of the town as I possibly could find. Out of that history, I have written a couple of presentations, and we have done a number of historical tours. And now that I'm retired sort of from the college, I'm also having opportunity to spend time with the Haviland Heritage Foundation. The Haviland Heritage Foundation has a museum here in the Science Center, and we're standing outside the entrance to that, and there's a picture here or a cutout of Laura Haviland. Laura Haviland was the one who was the namesake for the Haviland community. She had connections both with Friends and with Methodists. She spent her life with the Underground Railroad and working with escaped slaves, and after the Civil War was responsible for bringing a number of ex-slaves out of the South and repositioning them in places like Kansas. And so she was a perfect namesake for this new community that was founded in 1885. Our theme for the museum through May, June, and July is focusing on veterans and nurses. And just outside of the door here on the other side, we have a display of that's quite often found in restaurants and other public places, a memorial for the lost soldier, the one who is missing. An empty chair, a plate that has a lemon which is bitter, also a bit of salt that's precious but is lost, and then of course the glasses, the flower, and the flag to remind us of those who have given their self in our service and have gone before us. When we decided to do the theme of veterans and nurses, we wanted to see what sort of artifacts we might find in the Haviland area. And I think we were a bit surprised at the number that we did uncover. We have here a number of things from the Korean War. This duffel bag was from Jim Leiniger, who was a professor at the college for a good number of years. And also we have an interesting set of bells or bowls that were purchased while his sister was a nurse in Korea at the same time that he was a soldier there. We have an army uniform from World War II that was for Doyle Clark. And Doyle Clark has an interesting story because he had an opportunity at one point in time to be an extra in the movie To Hell and Back. And we have here a shot of from that movie. Dwayne Larsh, who is now a part of this community, served both in World War II and also in Korea. This happens to be his U.S. Navy uniform for the Korean. It has both a white hat and a black hat, which was pretty much common in those days. And the insignias on the wall and also down here on the floor are again insignias from those who served from this community. An earlier war, we have a uniform here from the Civil War. The Civil War uniform was worn by Milton Asher, and Frederick, his great-great-granddaughter, has lent that to us. So a Civil War artifact. But we also have a focus on nurses, and we had Doris Thornburg Ferguson, who was a missionary in Africa for over 40 years. She graduated with a nursing degree from the school in Hayes in 1955. And this is her cape. There's a picture of Doris and the hooding service that took place as she graduated. And we also have a couple of photographs here of Jan Rush, who was also a nurse. The rest of that display is about veterans mail or victory mail, an opportunity to send letters back and forth in a rather unusual way back in the 1940s, where instead of filling a lot of mail bags, letters were actually put on microfilm. The microfilm was sent and then reprinted on, on the base. And a couple of other artifacts from homesteaders around in this area. And in the opposite corner, an older nursing uniform from years ago from the Dillon's family here in the Haviland area. And then in the counter, we also have a number of veterans representatives. Way on the bottom here is materials that have been donated by Jerry Hickey, who was a Navy officer, electrician, served on an aircraft carrier for a number of years, and also then was in Vietnam as an electrician at the base as well. Here in the museum we do have some permanent displays. We have a number of old telephones and some collections from the telephone company, and on the side wall there is an actual photograph of the telephone staff, and a good number of them are still with us. We have the first barber chair from the barber shop in downtown Haviland, and the old typewriter comes from the first bank that was here in town as well. In August, September, and October, we're going to be having a focus on photography with a collection of old cameras and also photographs, particularly photographs that have photographed the area in and around Haviland. In May, June, July, the museum will be open every Saturday.